Uh, Grateful for my friend Alex joining us. So Alex, if Chris, we're gonna drop Alex's socials in there so people can follow him, and Alex just put a big announcement out, which would be pretty cool. Probably can't get into it on the call, but he's just made a big move, which sounds pretty cool. I haven't heard about this, but Alex is a luxury specialist. We were both over at Keller Williams. We got to collaborate a lot. Alex was a ambassador for the Southeast region of KW. Just for context, the Southeast region by agent count, that one region is like the sixth or seventh largest real estate company in the country. So huge. Got to do a lot of really cool things. We got to do some great things together and talk about the path to luxury. And one of the things that has been great in doing that is one of the tenets of luxury marketing is to treat everyone like luxury, right? And just invest in relationships because you just don't know who's going to be the relationships that are going to promulgate later. And I'm glad to introduce you all because Alex has been someone that really has shown up, invested in relationships, invested in those. You know, I know Drew is excited to talk to you about you. He wants to hear some I've shared the personal side. I know Drew's got some questions for you, kind of about what the business side looks for you, Alex, and who you are before we jump into what you're here to present about today.
Thrilled. Awesome. Amazing. I'm ready to
So
go.
let's get the party started,
Right?
Alex.
Yeah.
I have one serious question to start it off. How'd you finish last year, numbers wise, and give us like the nitty gritty details.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. I'm a luxury specialist, but I started literally in investments. I literally grew up in an investment family. My sister and I used to fight over opening the door where people would literally come and pay the rent at the front door. So we literally grew up in my family's investment farm, which was literally my grandfather's farm that my grandfather built back. So I'm thrilled to be here today to talk with you. We did 45 million in production last year on 32 transactions. And we had, and I just learned this as I was doing some prospecting earlier this week. We learned that we had four sales over the $4 million price point, and that gave us 18% of the luxury market share over 4 million in Nashville. So I didn't know that, and I'm thrilled to share that with you because another agent was the one that told me. And listen, I mean, I can even continue to get even more granular. Let's be clear. I also did a $90,000 transaction in that mix. So look, no. This is one of the things that I love about Lux and about talks like this is we really focus on making it approachable, and everyone has their own version of luxury, whatever that is. When I was really heavily invested in traditional and investment real estate, we found apartment buildings and we found a gap in apartment buildings, the 20 and 30 and 40 units that the huge apartment brokers didn't want to deal with. They were like, that's too small. But then all the residential agents, it was too complicated and they didn't know, rent rolls and all these other, type things. They were used to single family houses. And so there was a gap there and we found and created a gap. But I'd say that's one of the things we'll share today is just luxury is local and luxury is relevant to what you're focused on and what you can take advantage of. So we'll get into that today. But yeah, that I was pretty proud of that. That was our seventh year making $1 million worth of gross commissions annually. That is gross, not net. Thank you very much. I have not quite netted yet, but we've been close twice. And so, yeah, it's really interesting to me that's I would say that's a penultimate, thing that someone else shared with me that we reached those numbers, just kind of cruising along. And you can say where'd the deals come from. One was a builder, one was a personal friend that we developed through our children's school, and the other was a referral from the agent who did two transactions with us. So, yeah, it was a very, very good year. We had a good year last year where a lot of people was the opposite. We had a really good 23, and some people had a really good 22, and we were the other way around. So.
I love I love that. And one of the things that is really interesting you shared about that investing being the start is having an investment focus, which is what we're talking about in this gain calls, right? Global Agent Investor Network is also a great pathway to working with luxury clients. It's the twofold, right? Those same people that are your investors that are multi-transactional, your builders, your developers, right? That's a more sophisticated, maybe commercial investor also need a place to live, and you can service them both, and that could be a great gateway. I know some agents that do that very, very effectively in our sphere.
You
I'm so
know,
excited. I want to hear what you got.
you can even what if you say you're like that scares me. Somebody heard you say that and they tensed up a little bit. You know what I mean? We'll keep this PG. They just went, "Ooh, like I can't. I'm not a luxury person. That's not what I do." You know, whatever it is your niche that you're being successful in. And maybe you don't want to dilute that. That's fine too. There's plenty of people that you can connect and refer that'll take great care of them, right? There's a different skill set, just like we all do, from wholesale to lots for builders and developers and investment property and cash flowing property and all the things, STRs and vacation rentals, all the things. Whatever your particular specialty is, like that's great. Own it and dominate it. And look, I guarantee you, every one of you would be thrilled for me to send an investor to you that I was like, hey, I don't have time for this. But you've got it all in your back pocket, right? And it's not that you don't have time for it. Every transaction is worth, worth our time and attention, but it may not be our skill set. I'm learning that now that because of the past years that I've had, like I've developed skills that make me really excellent in a certain price category and make me really not excellent in other price categories. And so you take inventory and audit yourself, and that's part of the talk today.
And I think that is interesting because one of the things, if you don't work the luxury market, I had some folks here, not quite luxury, they relocated here and in a 600K house, and they wanted to join the local country club. And because of all the work we've done, like with other agents, had great relationships, great friendships from the brokerage I was in, and a friend of mine was able to sponsor them. But man, that was like okay, that's kind of a natural fit for if you're coming here and you're into these things, and that may be a great, add that to your, if you're not a boat person, add a boat person to the, add someone who does that, kind of lives that lifestyle to the Rolodex that you can partner with or refer to, because they may be the right key for that lock. I love
That's
that.
right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So let's talk about some relationships and referrals, Drew. Let's get into this. I want to hear this.
So I'm like uber excited to see the presentation, right? Like I see it's ready to get fired off here. I was just curious, out of your percentage of your business, what are those come from Sphere or referral?
Yeah, so I am a database driven guy. I have three key silos that my practice comes from, and I've always been a database guy. I tell people in my life I only dated four women in my life, and I married two of them. It was not at the same time. And But I will tell you that's absolutely true. So I very much build, connect, and maintain and nurture relationships. So 89% of our practice comes from previous current clients, and then on top of that, we have business people that refer us. So when we were at our prior company, we were one of the top five most profitable companies, because we had very low cost of sale. And on top of that, we've built this practice, around luxury. And so it helps, that we've been very intentional there. Just Saturday, I was leaving a children's event. We were going to, get chicken fingers after, a flag football game. Very luxurious, right? And walked in, and one of my clients is sitting there getting ready to go to a concert. And what are they doing? I walked up to them. I walk up to the table, and they're literally scrolling through a platform looking at a house. And I could walk up to my clients who were not expecting me on a $2.5 million house. And I went, oh, I've seen that house. And now they were like, first of all, wow, hello, here I am out of nowhere. Two, like, it's also sort of creepy, let's be clear. It was a little weird that they're having dinner and I walked up, but then I could tell them about a house that I invested in, I mean, 6 months ago, and I could tell them openly, I've been in that house. You will like this, and this. You won't like this, and this. And they went to the open, and I followed up with them yesterday. And guess what? spot on. And they were like, "Hey, thanks. You know us. Thank you." Now, did we get a deal? No, but we definitely cemented, our relationship with them, and candidly with the agent. Right? The agent's grateful that I sent a client, and told them to go and told them to be there. And so, guess what? When it comes down to that agent and me, yet again, relationships. So 89% of our practice comes from that. We have a handful of stuff that rolls in. Open houses is actually a pretty good lead source for us. But our three keys are database, our agent network, doing and connecting with people just like you, to be the connector. And we find people all over the market. We have people in multiple markets with multiple specialties. So I think that's a mistake a lot of agents make, is they're like, I'm going to find a referral partner, and my one referral partner for Nashville is Alex. If you do that, that's awesome. That's smart. If it's anywhere else, you should have probably five or six. And five or six is absolutely real. You need a Lux agent. You need a military specialist. You need a first-time buyer. Because let me tell you, first-time buyers have a whole different set of needs and nurtures than a luxury client who's buying their sixth house that they currently own globally. That's a totally different skill set. And even people that focus on elder law and working with downsizing and things like this, another total different set of skills. And so specialty is amazing. But beyond that, build that agent network of 4 or 5 people, in that market. Because again, that first time buyer agent or an investor, client that needs you to identify, the deal, is a totally different person than that, whatever else that might be. There's lots of different choices. So I love sharing that. We're working on that in our practice right now.
I love that. And then you rub the real estate lamp and your realtor appears is kind of cool too, though, right?
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
you're like the
listen.
Aladdin in Tennessee real estate, man. So I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, any character I can be with the bow tie and the lamp and the rug, whatever. I don't care. Like whatever it takes.
You never had a friend like Alex.
Never
What's
had
your
a friend like me. Let's keep
what's
it
your three
going.
pillar? You said
Uh,
database, agent partner network, and sphere.
and business people. I'm sorry. So our sphere, yeah, well, I count sphere at previous clients, current client, previous clients. Sphere is all database.
Yep.
A realtor network is second, and then third, technically, but intentionally, is our business partner. So we actually go through and we talk about vendors. So financial planners, builders, attorneys, family law, but also probate and anything like that. Those folks, we put our builders in that category. We put CPAs, all that kind of stuff. So our top referral sources, those are our three keys. And we actually have a tool that we're going to share with you later today, that you can download, and we'll share with you, that shows how we built it. We call it the accounts pyramid. And a friend of mine and I created it, and we'll share it. We're going to share it with you today. We're going to talk about how we use it and how we kind of, play Tetris with people to advance our business.
I love it.
What do y'all want me to be sure to talk about in our talk today?
Okay. You ready to get going, Drew? You want to hear
Oh,
Alex kick it
yeah,
off? Let's
go.
go,
Let's
Alex.
go.
Get that
All right,
thing.
ready, set. Well, I'm thrilled to be here, and please interrupt me, guys, as we go along. If you hear something, don't let me just carry on. I want to make sure this is an interactive thing, and so please, be with us. So this is my path to luxury. We started this yep.
I will say one thing I think maybe is worth saying is, and luxury is exciting, and luxury is this stuff is applicable to your business. Even if you never want to work luxury, if you don't want to sell mansions, you don't want to join this is completely applicable to whatever you're doing. These strategies are totally effective.
Yeah.
And so feel free, if you're not a luxury agent, ask questions, chime in. It's surprising and delighting your guests and your database, and being a resource and plugging people in and being the center of like the social web is applicable if you're a great agent, regardless of what your niche is. So like please jump in, ask questions. Like it's the more interactive, the better. Alex is a pro at this, so you can throw him some interesting curveballs.
It's
He's
funny you say that because one of my first coaching programs that I was ever a part of was very lender based. And the realtors were maybe 10 or 15% of the population in the program. And it was interesting, like we constantly found ourselves being like, well, if you're a lender, say did it, say this, like say this. And I had to learn quite early to be able to do exactly what you did. And that's a powerful thing. Like just turn it. Don't turn it off, just turn it, hear it differently of like, hey, this is my particular niche. Or if you're stuck and you're not creative and you're like, I can't figure out how to spin this, raise your hand, we'll help. Right, like we'll make sure we get that spun up and find value in it. But you're here because other people tapped out and said, luxury, that's not me, and shame on them because we're going to show you. I guarantee you, every one of you that's here is going to find value and something to apply in your practice today. Ready? Okay, buckle up. Headgear, mouthpiece in, ready. All hands inside the cart. We're leaving the station. So, ready, set. Chris, go ahead. Um, so here's a little bit about us. Consistently in the top 1% of realtors. I think it's always important to know who you're talking to. Drew did a nice qualifier, but a couple of key talking points. 7 times with over a million GCI, one of the top 100 real estate agents in America. I've been a Nashville Emerging Leaders panelist or finalist, judge, winner. Finally, there were some gaps between that. I was the first year's judge ever, and then I was a nominee for many years, and then ultimately a winner. Also, top 40 under 40. I just barely made it. Fun story. I was also in the Realtor Top 30 under 30, which was one of my goals, except I wasn't one of the named people. So always be intentional about what you want. I said I wanted to be in the top 30 under 30 Realtor magazine, and I'm in the top 30 under 30 Realtor magazine, but it was for a editor, letter to the editor submission, not because I was one of the top 30, but and accomplish my goal, so be very specific, about your goals when you're thinking about that. So again, 85% over the history of our career referred to us by business partners and previous clients. And in January of this year, we're very proud. Another cool statistic: we were the top producing agent across all categories in Davidson County. And that's pretty cool because we are one person. I do have 4 staff, contract to close, and a personal assistant and a video editor, and then a special projects manager. But we're one agent, and to do that into January is quite exciting. And I'm going to beat that drum for another 9 months until it comes back around. So, go ahead, Chris. Yep, go ahead to the next one. So we have over 1,100 closings in our career, 500 million in volume. I'm a frequent international national speaker. One of the interesting things is my first international talk actually came from doing something just like this, right up the road, teaching in a class less than 25 minutes from my house that led me to a main stage in Lyon, France in January of 2020, and a main stage of over 2,000 people in Central Europe were there. And so you just never know where that next opportunity is coming from. So that's why you always do your level best. And then some example of our previous clients that we've worked with. We have an attorney relocating, a family selling a penthouse in a vertical building here. We have a public figure who's working to buy a private estate in Nashville, and that's about as much as I can say about that because I signed my life away. I think if I say more than that, they take one of my kids and maybe a dog. I'm not sure. Anyways, that's not funny when everybody's on mute. You can't hear the laugh. That doesn't work out. Thank you for the laugh track there. But okay, so let's jump into it. I would love to know quickly, with anything I ever do, go ahead, Chris, is what brought you here today? We're thrilled and honored to be here that Drew and Justin brought us, but I want to make sure that we do something that's valuable for you. So if you have something, either come off mute, go ahead and drop it in the chat if you want, and we'll make sure that we talk about today and we fold in exactly what you want to get. We're all in business for ourselves to support our families and support our lifestyles and what we want to do. But I will say to you, make sure that when you're doing this, that we find something, right? Write something down that you get excited about. That's one of the best habits a mentor taught me early on is write everything, put a star next to it. Like, I like that idea. I like that idea. I like that idea. And at the end, we're going to make sure that we pick one that you actually execute on. So, what did you come to learn? All right. We cool if we do that in the chat, or does someone really want to come off mute quickly and share?
I know all y'all. I'll call some names. Oh, if no one wants to volunteer as tribute.
You know,
Mr. Michael, what'd you come to learn today? Okay,
hey,
Michael.
hey, Alex, I'll kick it off. The average agent, right, that does one a deal that's considered luxury per year based on whoever they're with and whoever designates what luxury is. If they'd like to get more into that side, what advice would you give them as if they're only doing one or two, maybe quote unquote luxury deals per year?
Outstanding. We definitely will cover that.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you for playing along. If you don't, that's
I'll play
cool. If you,
along.
oh, there you are. Come on.
Hey, I was trying to get the mute button.
Well
Uh,
done.
Marketing to the affluent or networking with the affluent, because I'm, guessing here, based on a $4 million price tag, that they will have certain needs and expectations that our first-time home buyers, for example, don't have. So, yeah.
Excellent. We'll definitely talk about that. Thank you. And thank you for participating. We've got a $50 gift certificate coming your way for participating. I'm kidding. I don't know if Justin has and they have that or not, but we'll see. Thanks for playing.
I have one for you too, Alex, which is
Okay.
how do I get into relationship with people that are kind of ahead of me in life?
Mm,
I'm a young agent trying to sell, to people that are maybe a generation older than me, or, I'm transitioning in here, right? And I'm a regular Joe, but I want to go, right, get into a different category or multi-transactional clients or how do I what do I do to make that step to build relationships with people that might feel different than me?
yep. We'll talk about that for sure too.
Awesome.
Ready, set. Here we go, Chris. Next. All right, so let's jump right in. So, one of the things we're going to give you lots and lots of resources today. Anything we have, we're happy to share the slides. Happy for you to connect with us. We've got lots of different ways. Justin's already shared that, in here with us. But this is where it started, right? Affluent customers typical have a strong self-image. They maintain their favorable self-image by accepting experiences that promote this self-image and rejecting ones that tarnish it. Now, this is really critical in any particular practice. So you can take luxury out and you can insert any other word you want. You know, it was a military specialist, first time buyer specialist, any of those things. You want to see that you're matching their strong self image and a favorable self image, and then knowing that they're going to reject any experiences that tarnish that. So, great example of that. I'm in business with someone for a different conversation where we are an adopting agent for an agent that retired. We've been in business with them for almost 8 years. And in our time together, they actually didn't pick us to partner with first. They went through the process. Actually, they talked to a bunch of different people, 10 different people on a national scale, and ultimately did not pick us. And the first client that they referred through to their new adopting agent that they were working with showed up in a car that was dirty, that had fast food bags on the floor, and she brought her dog to show a $2.5 million house. And she picked up the client in her dirty car with fast food bags on the floor and her dog. And let me be clear, I love my dog. I'm not a dog hater. My dog is right here. You can't see him. He is literally off screen, just here, right with me. But there's a time and a place. And that client told the referring and adopting agent, and it just was not a quality match. That didn't, the car was dirty, this and that. Those are easy things, right, to fix and to adjust. But the relationship had already been tarnished. And so that guy, the agent, who was retiring, ended that relationship. And they went back through 9 people because they got rid of one of the 10 and ultimately picked us. And we're very proud to be in business with them. And that's turned into about 4 transactions, every year, 1 a quarter, has been really, really good. So this is a great book. It's a little bit dated, but it does help you build some of that. And one of the things you can do when you're wanting to build a practice is start to teach it and start to read about it. Learn the language. Now, specifically in real estate, in all the niches of real estate, there's vernacular that you need to know, right? You need to know different vernacular to know what you're doing and know what you're talking about. And you may be getting rejected by an experience because of your language. And luxury, especially, would never let you know. It's not a big thing, it's not nuclear, it's not this big fight. They just fade away, right? They just go away and you count it as a lost deal. But what you didn't realize is that you said something in that initial at bat, in those initial conversations. So one of the first things we recommend is start to build, your practice and start to build your language, which you can do on your own by watching videos and attending webinars much like this, and reading books. So Chris, go ahead. So, again, we've talked about this. What would tarnish an affluent customer's image, right? Not making it look like they work with someone that makes them, look good, right? They want someone that's going to represent them positively, proactively, anticipate their needs, make their experiences better. And listen, like the things that we do to make things really, really luxurious are very, very easy. It's just time. Right? It's time and anticipating it and knowing that you want to go through it. Things that enhance or tarnish, right? Tarnish would showing up in a dirty car with a dog and then they have dog hair over them and they walk into the house and they walk into a luxury house with someone else's dog's dog hair on them. And then that's their first impression when that other agent is hosting the house. Like that's not going to work out, right? That's just not the same thing. So you think about that. Think about those type things and how you can apply it to your practice, but also as you build a luxury. Go ahead, Chris. So this is one of my favorite books. What is luxury? Go ahead, Chris. This is Jack Cotton, Selling Luxury Homes. Up, go back. It is not a it is not a book that you can usually find resale. You have to buy it. It's expensive. It's a luxury book. But what I'll say about this was Jack literally wrote the book on selling luxury homes. I've spent some great time with Jack. And he talks a lot about these things, a lot about the image. And look, there's a lot of different images that are out there all over the world right now. There's a lot about it can be about the car, it can be about the clothes. We've evolved to a particularly casual business environment, right? Right. I mean, I don't. Is anyone else wearing a tie? I don't. I got one guy. I see Scott's got on a collared shirt, but that's about it, right? We've just evolved into that. And look, my brand is the bow tie, right? We've gotten into these branded, logoed, also CrossFit shirts, that we could also go and wear and that we hand out to our clients. And that's great. But knowing that, like, if that works and that's part of your clientele, then great. But you need to know and how you can adjust and adapt. He tells a story in this book, Jack Cotton. It's an excellent book. He talks about how he pulled up in Cape Cod. He works in New England and pulled up to the property, and the car out front on the houses were 3 Priuses and an electric bike. And he pulled up in his Rover and was like, I got a problem. And his presentation was good enough that he got through it. And what do you think he did to enhance his image with that client? Any ideas?
He got his hands on an electric vehicle.
Yeah, yeah, that's a choice. Yeah, he could have showed up next in another electric vehicle. What he did, little bit more quickly at a little bit less expensive, he went and got a bike rack and put 2 bikes on it. And he got good bikes. He didn't buy the like Murray 10 speed that was like from the 80s, that I wrecked and crashed out. He had nice, like really nice, bikes that they hadn't put them on there. And so that all of a sudden they were like, oh, And so that counteracted that. It brought them into a different conversation because they had that electric cycle bike that was there. And so that all of a sudden they found someone they wanted to work with, that they had commonalities with, as opposed to this like strong juxtaposition of off. So go ahead, Chris.
Can we pin that for just 1 second, Alex?
Sure.
I relocated to Knoxville in 2000
Yep.
from Florida,
Yep.
and it's culture shock, right? Everyone dresses so differently, and many years. I must have been here 10, maybe 15 years, and I remember seeing a little boy in Brooks Brothers, little 4-year-old, like, and I was like, oh, all of these frat guys. I mean, I'd already kind of like internalized this, but intellectually it was like they just dress like their dads. I wear t-shirts and had long hair because my dad was like a wild Southern rock. Like everybody, we're all just comfortable with people that things that feel familiar. So when I adapt and I wear a golf shirt, it makes people feel comfortable if that's the way that they present or have something in common, bikes, whatever that is. Oh, I've got something in common with Alex. Like there's a bridge there. I can build rapport, and everyone, whether it's luxury agent or the new, is looking for some sort of rapport.
Yep.
It's
Well,
not,
and
that's
it's
fascinating.
interesting. It's interesting for me because the bow tie became our brand because when I didn't have it on, what would you have said today?
Where's your bow tie?
Dude, where's your bow tie? What are
I,
you doing?
I
Like
have,
it's weird. I'm having to unwind some of my own stuff. It's heavily branded. A previous client called me back this week, forgot my name, but remembered Bowtie Realtor Nashville, and he put that into Google, and guess who showed up? And that's like $1.4 million sale that we're gonna get that I have no cost of sale in. And by the way, shame on me, he forgot me. I wasn't doing enough. And we're in that battle that we're going to talk about today. Like, it's our job now. It's changed for the balance of my career, 23 years of doing this. I was always outbound. And now, look, people don't answer the phone. They just don't. And so now it's our job to go the other way. We also are more connected than ever before. So all we have to do is set just a little bit of time apart to show our clients that we care and that we're connected, and to sneak up on them in a chicken finger restaurant and go, "Hey, how you doing?" Like I wasn't all luxurious. I was gross from a flag football field with an 11-year-old. Right? Like I wasn't like wearing my smoking jacket and don't get twisted on that. Like I was absolutely just saying hello, and we were connected. And so I say that to you to just think about that. Take that 20, an idea is take 20 minutes instead of getting sucked into reels. And I'm not on TikTok, but on other things, you can go through and find the opportunities that people are telling you they want to talk about. And you can message them and you can send a voice note to them. I mean, if you're saying, "Oh, I just don't have the time," you have time to send 20 voice notes through Instagram. It takes less than 30 minutes to do that. You do. And if you don't, hang tight. We'll talk about where you can find that 30 minutes. But you absolutely do, and it makes all the difference. And slowly you start to plant those seeds, and it comes back, it comes back, comes back. One of my wealthiest clients just this week keeps posting pictures about his baby. He's got one baby, one. I have four. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm so busy." And I'm like, "Bro, stop that. Like, stop. Just stop right now." But okay, that's his perception of busy. And and it's a baby, it's an infant that sleeps half the time. So but he got back around to us. He knows that he needed to get to us ultimately, right? So anyway, that's just another little, ad-libbed nugget that I think is very powerful, that people are literally posting the things they want us to be talking to them about. All we have to do is show up. We got to take the time, and instead of going easy and going like it, flip the switch, go into the DM and send a voice note, and then it just spins up. Let's get together, and off you go. So, Mel Robbins says that we have over 10,000 thoughts a day, and we don't act on hardly any of them. And so that's why her first book, that was, the launch, 5 4 3 2 1 launch, the countdown to taking action on that. If you don't know that, that book is great, Mel Robbins. And we have all these thoughts that come through in our head. And if you don't catch them, if you don't catch those ideas, and then count down 5 4 3 2 1, I'm going to take action on it, then it goes away. Right now, while I've been talking this morning, I remembered something that I forgot 3 days ago. that I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited about. I gotta tell the team this, and it's been gone. It's been wearing me out for 2 days, and so being here with you all has helped me remember that. So anyway, let's carry on. Any other thoughts or comments while we've paused here and pinned for a second?
Garrett asked a question. How does one go from regular residential to luxury real estate focus in the same area of focus or same city? So Garrett, I'm curious, well, Alex is mulling it over. What do you mean by same area of focus? Um,
I just meant like, for example, I'm in Knoxville, so being in that same space, like without me physically moving, like how do you transition would have been the better question.
okay.
How do you transition to Lux?
Right.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? One of the wealthiest clients that I've ever heard of. I did not work with this man, but he owned a concrete company, and so what I would say to you is luxury is relative. Luxury is local, and luxury is relative to the database that you have. Already. So I'll give you a good example. We're in Nashville, right? And Nashville has an enormous um, population of public figures, right? We have sports, we have entertainment, we have producers, we have all these various folks. And so I went on a journey that we're going to talk about in a minute, where a $65,000 condo got us all the way to a first round draft pick. And we just slowly over time were intentional about the people that we already knew, Garrett, and we were asking them, hey, who do you know that I need to know that works with or has a connection to the Tennessee Titans? And so slowly we went through and found opportunities, and we were building our base, and we started finding out who their insurance person was. Now, is it really exciting to find their insurance person? I mean, kinda, but not really, because unless they're going to really refer us, we found them and they were great, but it really wasn't that big of a deal, right? And then we found the person that was in charge of it at the bank, the bank that was in charge of the Titans account. So we get connected with them. But actually, at the end, it's all organic. So you'll see as we go into a slide here. Chris, go ahead to the next one. I think it's here shortly. We're going to come back and talk about the definition of luxury. Yeah, keep going. Okay, so here we go. So this is one of the places and one of the slides that we can talk about how to start to build those relationships. And the number one thing that I want you to hear me say is I want you to do whatever it is organically, right? And you cannot fake this, right? So, for example, if you're into watches, if you're a watch person, don't say you're a watch person if you're not a watch person. I'll give you a great example. You see the horses on here. I'm not a horse guy. You can't tell on the screen, but I'm not a big dude. I'm like 5'6", and horses can step on me, right? There, you get a 15-hand horse, like a horse will actually step on me. I'm out. I don't like them. They're bigger than me. They don't listen to me. Like I'm just not a horse guy. So if you're a horse person, be a horse person and know that. But if they're like, Alex, I'm just not the equestrian specialist. But you could be. You could have that connection. So, Garrett, find those things. I guarantee you right now, you have, and we can do this right now live if you want. I guarantee you have three unfair advantages that you have over everyone else on this call. So, whatever it is in your history, I mean, were you a musician? What was your history? Where's your natural connection that you have an unfair advantage in?
It's a good question. Where do I have an unfair advantage in the history? Mm, I'm thinking of like past careers.
Yeah. What'd you do before this?
I worked in computer programming as a software engineer, and I moved here from Hawaii a year and a half ago. So I'm trying to tie all this together.
Perfect. Amazing. So guess what? You
Got
have a
it.
whole bunch of
I'm
natural connections. Guess who you just connected to in a big time way?
Too.
Guess who spends a lot of time in Hawaii?
You do.
oh,
Yes, indeed.
Which
A
island do you spend time on?
ton. Dude, Maui and the Big Island.
So my hometown more or less was Lahaina. So
Okay, so
that's
see.
why I'm out here.
So do you see this, right? Do you
Yep.
see how this is all of a sudden going, oh my God, Lahaina, oh my God, oh my God, right? Like, dude, I cried. on the fires. Like no joke. We're in
Yeah,
Tennessee. So guess what? Now you could back into all the people that have a passion for Hawaii in the middle of Tennessee. It is freaking far away. So,
sure.
quick story. Sorry for the thing. We won't do this full coaching session right here. But what I will say to you is my view keeps changing. I'm trying to look at y'all. But so what I'll say to you is if you find that, you just hit on a passion, and me and you were about to go down a rabbit trail. Like we were about to talk for 30 minutes and everyone else was just going to hang out. Right. And like, that's not cool. We're better than that. But that's the key. You got to find that unfair advantage. If you were a nurse, like amazing. Guess what? Nashville, Tennessee, we have a ton of medical professionals. Guess what happens at 5 o'clock in the morning in Nashville, Tennessee? Shift change. So, guess what? If you wanted to do a bunch of business with nurses, you could go to breakfast at 5 o'clock in the morning when those overnight nurses who make a bunch of money and are, and are relaxing and starting their off time at 5 a.m. in the morning. Don't tell me you don't have time. There's time all the time. You just got to find that niche. We have people in the music industry. One of my, well, y'all are familiar with this guy. Kind of a big deal in country music. His name's Kenny Chesney. I think you've heard of him, maybe some of you in Knoxville. Well, guess what? First of all, he lives about 2 blocks this way from here. I've seen him. Nice guy. Seen him walking his dog. Guess who sold him his $8.5 million house?
You did.
No, I wish. One of his band's partners. Guess how many houses they sold the year that he bought that house? Now, why did he do that?
One.
Was she the best?
No, like trust.
She knows him. He rides a bus with her partner every single day for 6 months when they're touring around. Is he going to take care of his people that he's on that bus with? You bet it. You bet. It doesn't matter. It did not matter. She didn't ask her about his volume. She's like, "Oh, your partner's a girl is a realtor. Oh my God, perfect." So that is absolutely true. I had a lady that worked for me forever that she didn't close anything for the first year and a half. She was literally getting her hair done. She was in her middle 60s. She was getting her hair done here in Nashville, and her hairstylist referred her the lead singer of Evanescence, like the hard rock band, Wake Me Up,
Yeah.
that rocker song, right? And that lady has like all kinds of multicolored hair. Like this lady sold her $2.5 million house and immediately retired. One shot, one deal, boom, done. Yes. And so
Garrett
isn't that amazing?
also,
Like that
also a
happens.
bartender.
Go ahead, what?
No, I want to say Garrett, he missed this because I think this one's applicable to almost a ton of people on here. Who else in here has been in the service industry? Garrett's a bartender downtown, right? Who who likes bourbon in Tennessee? Who likes whiskey in Tennessee? Do affluent people like with? Yeah, Garrett, you've got like a lot of easy, natural ins.
So for me, it was sports. I spent time in sports. I went to University of Tennessee from here, grew up here. So one of my natural unfair advantages was I know a bunch of people. I'm not shy at all, as you can tell. And like I have started qualifying my database. I'll share it with you. If you would stop and say hello to somebody, maybe you're not into touching, like that's cool. I used to say hugging, but if you would stop and speak to someone in a coffee shop, they should be in your database. If you would
I had
stop and
another
see
one.
them at a conference, that's who you want to stop. That should go in your agent network. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut somebody off.
Yes, I just wanted to say, because Garrett said he used to be a computer programmer, I was thinking about all the techpreneurs that are out there and also these individuals who are senior level in these startup tech companies that are getting stock options and things like that. There's a lot of money floating around in the tech
Tons,
space.
tons. And guess what? It doesn't have to be local either, right? Let's be clear. Your niche could be highly global, right? I'll never forget. I'll go this and we'll go on, keep going. Um, I was in Hawaii. I was in what's the name of the place? It's mm, 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 mm. This would be better if I could pull the name of The restaurant. Anyway, we were in Lahaina in a cafe with a guy who has one of the best realtors on the island. I'm 5,500 miles from my market. 5,500 miles. This guy was a main stage speaker for a Keller Williams event that I did not get to because he's from South Africa. So he has this beautiful South African accent, and like you can't like the line was ridiculous. So I didn't talk to him. So here I am. I'm in the islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on family vacation. I sent him a note. I'm like, hey, you don't know me, but I didn't get to talk to you at the event. Can we hang out? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Let's get together. We had the most romantic lunch of my life. Like I had to call my wife and be like, hey, oh my God, uh, you've got to come here. But oh my gosh, we had this ahi tuna bruschetta on the ocean, waves crashing, turtles. I mean, like it was ridiculous. An hour and a half into that lunch, that guy goes, oh, my biggest client's manager is in Nashville. Would you like to meet him? 5,500 miles on a little piece of lava in the middle of the freaking ocean from my market. Do you think there's a lot of referrals coming out of Lahaina to Nashville? It's not happening. But his biggest client is Mick Fleetwood. You heard of that guy? A little bit.
Like, makes sense. You were probably at that restaurant then on in Lahaina,
Yeah.
Fleetwood's.
What is it? No, it was up the street. It wasn't one that burned. It was one. It made it. It's that three right there next to the old Lahaina luau, and it's
Oh,
all.
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
put it in the chat when we get there. We can't. You and I can
Okay.
do this. We'll have a separate thing where we dork out about Maui. But
Gotcha.
so find something. If you're into wine, there's wine auctions that you can participate in. Watches, whatever it is. I don't care. It could be college football. It could be hockey. It could be anything. Just find that unfair advantage that you have, and it's got to be measurable enough that you can talk about it and make sure that it's actually something that matters. So when you find something that just like this, the people that you'd stop and talk to in a coffee shop and someone that you're like, oh my God, I want to talk about that. I don't care that there's 40 other people here. I want to talk to you about that restaurant in Maui. I do, but we can't. So too bad. We'll do that another day. Find that unfair advantage. Find the bourbon. Find those opportunities that you will do it and start to build that database. So go ahead, Chris. Okay, so this is the one of the tools that we use. Go ahead, one more. So people that say they don't, oh no, go back. Sorry, I thought that zoomed a little better. So this is a tool that we use. You have permission to use it. You can scan this QR code and you can have it for free from us. But we use this to go through and to keep up with the people that we want to be in business with. So you can see on this thing, it goes in and talks about estate planners. It talks about builders. It talks about, hang on, Chris, I can't read it. It's too small. I gotta go through with the property managers. That's a good one to go through because various people, tax attorneys, entrepreneurs, whoever that may be, public figures, anything like that. That's the kind of stuff that you want to go through. And the way you do this is you pre-fill it. Man, I would love to do business with this person. And you put them on here, and then when they break through, they're on the bottom, on the base layer here. And then after this, you actually move them up into what we call the top 50. And the top 50 is people that'll refer you at least once a year. And so we've just made this a game. You put your base, you put your prospects all the way across the bottom, and you can have 2, 3, 4, 5 in each different category. But then when they do refer you, Chris, you changed off the presentation. It's got your home
Sorry,
screen,
wait.
not
Yes,
Prezi.
sorry, wait. Technical difficulty.
So go ahead and close it while you fix it, then, please. So what you want to do with the accounts pyramid is what you want to do with the accounts pyramid is pick your prospects. But then on top of that, you want to go through and play the game. So every day, I'm going to call at least 4 or 5 of them. So yesterday, I found a lot that we haven't had any tear down lots in Nashville for the past 6, 8, 10 months. We found one yesterday that was actually good, that a retail client was looking at. They passed on it, and I'm like, great, we got to call our builders. So what do? We went to the list that has the builders in there. Boom. And you go straight down. I called 5, 6 of those builders and started conversations. Now, I started realizing, okay, one, is my builder base strong? And it's not very strong right now, right? It's not very strong. Their confidence isn't very good in the market. That's one of the things. Like, a handful didn't call me back. I didn't care. I kept going. I did it anyway because they'll get back to me. And guess what happened? I rolled over this morning getting ready for y'all. And guess who's in my text? One of those builders going, yeah, man, I got you. Like, I'm ready. I'm not interested in this, but here's exactly what I'm looking for. So push through when you have those things. Push through and go ahead. This is just a fun game. So let me just tell you previously. I'm happy to spend more time talking about it. But if you use the accounts pyramid, all prospects on the base, then you move it to top 50 when you get a referral, not the closing, but just the habit of that they sent you a referral. It doesn't matter if it was a bad pitch. It counts, when you're at bat, right? So it doesn't matter if it was a ball or a strike or a home run. You don't get to only count the home runs or the singles or the doubles, right? You got to count all the pitches. Then you move it up from there after the top 50 into accounts. That's the potential of getting 4 transactions a year. And then ultimately a channel account on the top if you could end up with 12 actual referrals a year. Now you say, where can that come from? Tony DeCello, one of my coaches, one of the things he always said is you got to start thinking about this. Start thinking about where you could get. Does anyone have 12 a channel account right now on the call where they get 12 deals automatic no matter what? Okay, what is it, Justin?
So we work with Bigger Pockets. So we're a partner for Bigger Pockets. That's and lots of people could do that, but we have a relationship with Bigger Pockets. We actually have the highest conversion rate in the country. We helped them pilot this agent referral program as a relationship that Rob built with Bigger Pockets directly, right?
Amazing.
And so that's a way of like, don't be afraid of like, so we give them feedback on how the program could work. How are you reaching out to your agent database? Like, right, of going into someone has to service the business.
Yep,
It
that's
might as
right.
well be.
That's right. That's right. I think it's fun to go down that exercise of thinking about what's an opportunity. What's an opportunity that shows up all the time that could be maybe not currently, but has shown the ability to refer something every single month. That'll expand your vision instead of just chasing these one deal, right? I've always thought about what about on-site agents that work for builders? That's a great target, right? Talking to them and prospecting to them. They're sitting in a model all day. What if you go to help them? What if they're bored? What if they're there by themselves and you go in to help get people registered on their busy days? And then you can work with them to find out and be a resource like, hey, they're not going to buy. We only have primary suites on the main floor, or we have no houses with basements. Well, they're not their buyer anymore. What are they going to do with that? Nothing. They're going to throw it away. And is it super valuable to you by going, gosh, I can find you houses that have basements. I can find you new constructions that have basements. So think about those opportunities. They're in the business, but they're captive, right? On-site agents, listing agents are captive. And so think about that kind of opportunity as you go. Any questions about the accounts pyramid? Powerful tool.
I've got a
Y-
couple other examples
Okay.
of, we also signed a deal, we're part of a national brokerage. Our brokerage has partnerships with institutions. So we're repping a hedge fund that's got 10 million to spend in Knoxville, right? So if everyone here on that investing side, if you control the inventory, you can find people that want to transact multiple times, right? And now we're moving into building some relationships with some builders. So I'd say the other one, and then we have some people that are doing wholesalers novations. So far, we just listed 4 last week, 4 novation properties with an investor. So those are, what are those wholesalers doing? What are those multi-transactional people doing? Same sort of thing. How am I building the relationship? How am I engaging them, making it personal? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, love it.
So many opportunities. It can be anything. As long as you align with it and it's something you genuinely have interest in. You want to find the place to be when you're the only realtor in the room. I went to a personal injury attorney's invitation only golf tournament this week. It was in Sweetens Cove, which is like 2 hours from Nashville. We had to go over the mountain, over the Monteagle Mountain to get there. There were no realtors there, only attorneys and big ones that referred him. And so
Mhm.
you're like, no way, no way, a personal injury guy. And yeah, because he's referred deals where he had people that had conservatorships that needed houses because they weren't good at managing money and they needed to get into a house. And so that turned into a transaction for us. We've referred them people that had interesting issues. So all that to say, just think about it. You don't want to be realtors love to hang out together. And we loved running packs and do things and hang out and do all that stuff. Do that with somebody else. Do that with somebody else. And find those other opportunities that you have some other passion for. Okay, Chris, let's go ahead. All right, so a couple other good books talking about the art of relationship. Digital Persuasion is an amazing book. If you haven't read that book, I've actually spent some time with Erin. She's an amazing author. True story. She built her failing PR company sitting on her couch one night and started texting the Oscars or tweeting to the Oscars on Twitter, now X. And she was like, they went to commercials. She's like, this is stupid. Anyone seen the Oscars ever recently? Cool, all one of us. Awesome, thank you for participating. Up, there you go, Garrett. I gave you a freaking coaching lesson, man. Come on, you got to participate. So, there you go. Two hands. I like that. Well done. So, she's sitting there. Have you ever seen the Oscars? What happens when they go to commercial? It goes picture in picture. And so the picture in picture pops up and they do the behind the scenes and they see them taking pictures and questions and all that stuff. This girl, Erin Cargan King, was the one that made that happen. She's like, this is stupid. We see everyone win and they're like, oh my God, I want to see more. You're going to commercial. Why aren't you doing picture in picture? Failing, going bankrupt, and the Oscars called her and said, gosh, we'd like to work with you. And now, guess what? She's now the PR firm for the Oscars. Is that powerful when you walk into the next presentation and like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I work for the Oscars. Hell
Yeah.
yes. And right, that's a big deal. And all she did was this right here. Every one of us has and carries this studio in our pocket. All you have to do is have the courage to do it enough and have a unique perspective that you get that at bat and you go from there, right? So everyone is accessible. Everyone is accessible anywhere in the world right now through that thing. Truly. So I would say that this next one, networking is not working. Another favorite of mine, talking about how to network. We've lost the art of networking. I've built my practice completely on that and going through, and we're going to talk about the next page that I'm going to show you a tool where you can actually go through 16 appointments and you'll end up with 3 leads. Every one of us has the ability to make 16 appointments to go see 16 people, and it'll add people to your database and it'll end up with the leads. We're just not willing to fight through the rejection to get to those leads. We're just not that hungry. We take the lower quality leads instead of pushing through. Go ahead, Chris. Yep, two more that are really powerful. 4-hour work week. I work way more than that. I'm sure you all do too. But the power of keeping focus on your goals and your tactics is what is critical from this 4-hour work week. Creating the systems where you have specific emails that you're putting out there. We have specific emails that we publish on our socials as well as on all of our videos that go through to know the source of where the lead came from. Instead of just doing Alex at Work with Alex, everybody could get that email. You all can have that email. Please do email me. But what I will say is, when we have this other one, this info at Work with Alex, then we know that that lead source came from something that someone else, that they saw an ad that we were running. It's not a referral. Go ahead. So maintain and deepen existing relationships. One of the things you can do, again, not hard, take time to write thank you notes, right? Take time to make thank you notes. Take time to surprise and delight. I love that language that comes from a good friend of Justin's and mine that we've known and worked with for many years, who has history with Nordstrom and the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton has a rule. Anyone know the 15-5 rule?
I don't know the 15-5 rule, Alex.
Cool. So the 15-5 rule at the Ritz-Carlton is with if any employee is within 15 feet of a someone staying there, they have to make eye contact. If they're within 5 feet, they have to speak to them. And so that's the rule. In addition to that, every single employee at the Ritz-Carlton has a daily budget of up to $200 to spend without permission to make someone's experience better while they're there. That's amazing. That can surprise and delight people. They are all empowered. They can do it on their own. If they're walking through the coffee shop in the morning and they see someone spill a whole cup of coffee, they can literally go in the pro shop, pull them a shirt, and go, "Here you go. So sorry." Then no questions asked. They find out that someone's celebrating something, they can send chocolate covered cherries and champagne to the room, no questions asked. They are empowered, coached, and supported to do that. So that's the kind of thing that you have an opportunity to do in your practice. And it doesn't take much. So Mega Millions, let me tell you what some of these mean. I've started a habit of using, I go and buy $100 worth of dollar scratch off tickets. And I carry them with me all the time. Now, I work to be the agent that other agents want to do business with. We want to be kind and friendly and polite. And we're not always that way. We're not perfect, but that's our goal. So when we finish a showing, especially a luxury showing, I whip out 3 of these and I go, "Hey, thanks for being here." It gets weird at the end of the showing, right? That when into that luxury showing, it's like, "Okay, well, thank you so much. We'll get back to you." Like it's awkward, it's uncomfortable, it's strange. And they don't want to tell you anything, but you want to know everything. And if you interrogate them, then you're a weirdo and you're driving them away from the house. If they want some privacy to think about it, like it just gets strange. So I was like, forget that. We're not doing that ever again. And so I go, "Great. Thank you for being here. Hey, one more thing before you leave." And I reach into my back pocket, left-handed, pull them out, and I have 3 of these lottery cards. And they're the lucky sevens ones, right? And so lucky sevens, and we're like, "Hey, we were really," and I hand it to the agent with my card on it and says, "Thank you." And like, "Hey, we were really lucky to get to work with you today, and we sure hope we get to continue that. I hope you have a successful day. See you later." Now, who doesn't love a scratch off? Everybody loves scratch offs, right? Like everyone. And who cares? It doesn't have to be big. What are they going to do? They're going to go get it, get in there and go. Now it has my card on it. It went to the agent. But damn, is that a standout? If they're looking at 4 other houses, do you think that happened? It definitely didn't. Right? We have a service extending and maintaining the relationship. When they come in our opens, we have food and we've staged the refrigerator. So they're like, "Oh my gosh, we have the good Mexican Cokes, right? That have the cane sugar in them instead of fake sugar and all that kind of stuff. We got by the Boylan's sodas, right? So you go through and it's got the cream soda and the root beer and the grape and the Shirley Temple and the orange drink. And dude, that costs us $30. Go ahead.
Alex, that's genius. We run an investor meetup, and the reason why we have so many drinks at the investor meetup, guys, is because when we have that many where it's like, "Ooh, I've never tried a ranch water," people stay. People stay because ooh, it's the novelty, it's the experience. I love that.
100%. Candy. We put 3 different kinds of candy out because guess what? 3 different kinds of people like 3 different kinds of candy, right? We put those little soft peppermints that come pre-wrapped in the plastics, and Werther's Originals and Jolly Ranchers. Is there someone on here that doesn't like one of those 3? Cool. There you go. One of those 3, someone's like, "Oh yeah, I'm getting that." And so we put those 3 out. We buy all the bags. It's nothing. It costs us $50 to stage the house with our service. But it's a difference. It makes a difference. There's a famous story here in Nashville about a guy, well, it was a hockey player that was looking, they were looking at 7 houses. They went to the sixth house, and at the sixth house, the guy had gotten a huge spread. It was 530. He knew they were the fifth of 6 houses. He got this huge sub platter. Just went to Publix and was like, "Hey, get you some pub subs." Had it all. The guy sat down, like chowed down, had 3 or 4 sandwiches, and was like, "This is good. Let's buy this one." They didn't even make it to the sixth one, and they bought that house because the guy went and bought a $20 sub. Come on a $5 million house. Like that's okay. That's good timing, right? Now there's plenty of failures too, y'all. Don't get confused about that. Thank you notes cost nothing. There's a guy here in town that writes 10 a day. 10 a day. This is an unfair advantage of writing thank you notes, right? Writing thank you notes really makes you stand out. It's personal. Find a reason to make it personal. This luggage tag, we talked about my friend Tony DeCello. Tony DeCello was one of the top coaches in the country. A good friend of mine, I was in a mastermind with him. He saw my luggage tag that had a Disney tag on it. He goes, "Oh my gosh, Alex." He's like, "I just want to introduce myself." I'm like, "I know who you are. Like, you're the reason I'm here." He goes, "Oh my God, I saw your luggage tag on your garment bag. You like Disney?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've got 4 children." He goes, "Oh my God, we love Disney." By the way, this is a man in his 70s that is like, "Hey, yep." And I was like, "Awesome." So what did I do? I went and got those luggage tags that I had and sent him for. They were $3. That guy's luggage tags fly all over the world with him. And do you think he thinks about me every time he sees that tag? You better believe it. So, luxury is about making it personal, about connecting and deepening existing relationships. You've got to continue to do that. It's easier and harder than ever before. We're more connected than ever before, but it's also easier because right now you can write 5 thank you notes today. Every one of you can. And you can write those 5 and you do 5 today. That's 5 for the week. That's 25 for the total week. That's 100 a month. Your peers aren't doing that. Stand out. Make that difference. Okay, Chris, go ahead. What's our time here? I know we need to wrap shortly. Yeah.
We're over.
Oh,
We're at 9:37.
okay. You want me to wrap in 5? Is that okay if we go for 5 more, everybody? If you got a dip, that's okay. I'm sorry. We got into talking about other things. So we talked about this. Luxury agents love to refer luxury. $2 million lunch. We had a $2 million lunch, but I'll skip that because you want to hear the one about the first round draft pick. So here's how it goes. Pick your people, start doing business. It's already the people that you know, like, and trust. They already know, like, and trust you. So I had a friend who referred me a lady who was buying a condo for her mother for her last home. It was 1 level living, buying an apartment, $65,000, 1 bedroom, 1 bath. She was an office manager of and this has been so long ago, we actually had to go back in the day and actually pick up checks, right? Physical checks. You had to go get the earnest money check and you had to go turn it in. Well, we were under contract. I picked it up. Dorinda was like, "Hey, Alex, how you doing? I need to introduce you to my friend Todd." And I'm like, "Yep, sure. Hey, Todd, how you doing?" And Justin's heard this story before, but I got the check. I'm like, "Hey, man." He goes, "Todd just sold a house," and I was like, "Cool." Now I'm behind. She's introducing me to a guy that already sold his house. Like, come on, man. Like, I got no time for this. And so I wasn't rude, but I was less interested than I should have been. And I was like, "Yeah, man. Yep, thanks. Hey, how you doing? Here's my card. Let me have yours. I gotta go. Let me call you later today." He's like, "Okay." So I just blew it off. So I go to my lunch, whatever, run in there, and then it's about 2:30. I'm like, I got to call that guy, whoever he was. Come to find out, he goes, "Yep, I just sold my house." And now, by the way, this is 2009, if you were in real estate in 2009, and there was not a lot of business being done in 2009. And the guy goes, "Yep, I just sold my house and I'm ready to buy somewhere between 800 and a million too." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. Where are you right now? Can I come meet you? Like, where are you?" And so he was sitting at a public at a Panera, and I went over and met with him. Got into business, did business. We go to pick up his earnest money check. He's sitting in another Panera, and for my Knoxville friends, you'll know this guy. He's like, I walk in, there's a guy that's pretty recognizable. and I knew who it was. A guy named Joey Kent, all-time leading receiver in Tennessee football history. I knew who it was from the beginning. He goes, "Hey, this is my partner Joey." I'm like, "Yeah, hi, I know who you are." And he was like, "Listen, I heard you did a good job. I'd love to work with you." I'm like, amazing. I'm like, I would love to work with you. We're to this day, we bought a house. He goes, I want to move my house about 400 yards across the county lines for my kids so they can go to school here. Great, we can do it. We did it. In the same time frame, we actually had a bank counter us for less than our original offer. Can't tell you what that was all about. He asked me what the hell's going on. I said, I don't know, but sign it before they realized they made a mistake. And they did. We bought it. And how cool is this? Both of his children have graduated from that high school in that county because of us. One of them's in the University of Tennessee right now. The other one just graduated this week, and I'm not sure where he's going. But it's super cool. Like we're friends, and we talk and text and see each other, and like we saw each other in the wine shop the other day. So then he said, "Oh my gosh, I need to introduce you to my teammate." I'm like, "Oh yeah, who's that?" And he goes, "Well, my teammate Kevin Dyson. He's the guy that was a yard short of winning the Super Bowl, right? First round draft pick, guy that caught it from Steve McNair, laid out, didn't quite reach. Another amazing guy, previous client, friend." And I talk to them to this day and tell these stories to this day about those exact same things. And it just got into it all in that one deal from a $65,000 condo turned into 12 transactions. And all of them still do business with us. And so I share that with you to simply say, you never know where it's going to come from. So when you're in process, you need to be asking people, who's your banker? Who's your attorney? Start to expand your network. Who is it that you know that I need to know that's going to buy or sell in the next 12 months? And if they don't know, they go, great, somebody's got some major life event happening. It's a birth, it's a death, it's a divorce, it's a marriage, it's a job gain, it's a job loss, it's graduation season. You could go through your feed right now, and there are leads for you to have today for people that had their last child graduate high school. They need to buy an investment property wherever that child is going. If it's out of their house, it's out of their house. If it's to trade school, it's to trade school. If it's to community college, it's to community college. If it's to college, they need to go in that town and you need to invest in student housing. So, Chris, go ahead and zoom out of that for now. We would love to stay connected with you guys. If you keep going, go ahead one more all the way to the network one. Um, I'm sorry we went over. I'm sorry that we got distracted. But I'm happy to come back. And these are our ways to connect. The QR code will actually connect you. We do an agent newsletter that's agent based. I'm not going to send you a bunch of houses in Nashville that you don't have clients to buy. I will send you valuable things that is things like this that we've been on other podcasts or listening to or tools that we found, and we're actively in the business every day, so we're sharing stuff that's valuable and relevant to other agents across the country and the world. So it's my pleasure. I'm happy to hang as long as we can. I know we've gone over, but I'm so grateful for you all having me, and like I said, happy to go where you choose.
Alex, I appreciate you. I think this lives up to the name. We call this Tactical Tuesday. Do y'all feel like you picked up some tactics today? Some specific, intentional tactics. There's a system and a process for all of this stuff. That's
Absolutely.
we've got a we've got a good friend, Alex. Alex is a great speaker in this world. Our friend Seth Levin is a another great speaker. He's taught that like how to break into the luxury market because he's in Manhattan. It is just treating everyone like their luxury, maintaining these relationships, you know, like what I found when I got into real estate is at first I had limiting belief about realtors because I had met maybe not some great realtors and I was a mortgage broker, didn't love them. And then when I got in and I met the 20% that were doing the business, really you started being the 10%, and you're like, oh, success leaves clues. Shocking. These people that are highly successful in this relational business have high EQ. They got high emotional intelligence. They're good at maintaining relationships, right? They invest in me. They make me feel right. It's been fascinating to see how easy it has been to build relationships with great agents around the country. So if you don't have those and you want to do those, really pretty easy. How can we help each other? You know, it is a skill. You know, you're not gonna be able to break in with everybody, but there are a lot of agents that you reach out to that'll say, "Hey, yeah, let's jump on. Let's take 10 minutes and figure out how do we connect? Who do we know? I know we know someone in common. We've got something in common. We've got something of value to add, right?" Um, yeah,
In my lifetime, in my career of doing this, I've only had one guy ever openly say, like, there's no opportunity for us to help each other. And look, maybe he's having a bad day. Who knows what's going on with that guy that day? But it didn't matter. And it was absolutely clear going forward about where we stood and what our opportunity was. There's always something. Again, you're exactly right. We were in Mala. You nailed it. Attaboy. And we were in the restaurant 5,500 miles away from my home, from my town, from my market, and there is opportunity. Here we are today. We had no idea there'd be a connection, but we've definitely connected, so find that opportunity, right? That's the key is be willing to overcome the objection and dig deeper. Right? Can we work together on residential? No, I have an agent that I go to church with. Awesome. Who do you work with on investment property? Nope. I'm dating somebody that I'm, only doing investment property with. What about commercial? No. Okay. What about referrals across the country? Who do you connect with? Like if you have those topics, those opportunities ready to go, then eventually you're like, okay, I don't like this person at all. Like we have no opportunity. Then don't spend any more time with them. Right? Like that's not a good match. We tried. Thanks. If things ever change, holler, and away you go. So,
and anybody have any questions before we jump off? Does everyone feel? I know folks had to leave us. I know we answered your question, Garrett. Alex, I appreciate you jumping on here. I saw you had participated earlier. You're working in the multifamily space.
yeah,
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 that is a great referral space. If that's not, those investors, those investors, like, it's a simple script. Hey, if you ever have any needs around the country, I got a closely held network of personal connections. Love to make a connection for you. And if you
yes,
know us, you have a network of the very best agents in the country. That's not an exaggeration.
yeah,
Them, like them, have spent time with them, vetted them, and that to the point now where I feel very comfortable with our network of like, hey, I can find you a great agent for this niche anywhere in the country because I know enough other connectors and who can get me into awesome, bam, let's go talk to this brokerage, let's ask them who the right agent is. There's a skill in how to interview those people and make that connection for them, and we are better at it than they are. And that's the other thing is that we're almost doing them a disservice if we don't offer that service. we
yeah.
we are better at vetting other agents than our clients are.
I'm sorry we went over, but
I
happy,
appreciate it.
happy, happy to, like you say, hang or you can email. We connected somewhere. We can follow up that way too. But
We're going to send you the contact list of everyone that registered
okay,
so that
great.
you can connect with them and follow up. And Chris can send out some of those resources. I know I would
Yeah,
love, I was making a list of those books, Chris. So I'd love that. Like, yeah, like
yeah.
those are a great, and then we'll send you the recording, Alex. So I'm going to
Okay,
stop
perfect.
right here.